Okay, let's take a look at interpreting scatter plots using those fit lines you've now learned to fit to the data. So let's look at a situation. Imagine you get a job in college assisting a professor who studies monarch butterflies. Okay? Your task is to count the number of butterflies in a butterfly migration sanctuary near campus. Below, you've graphed the number of butterflies you see, the Y value. So this is the number of butterflies you see, based on the number of weeks since the beginning of the year, the X value. Okay, so here in week 1, it looks like there were about 15 butterflies, and in week 2, there were this many butterflies, and you get the idea. You can see how many butterflies there were each week. You graphed it in the graph. You've also calculated a fit line for the data. That's this orange line here in the middle, which has the equation y equals 1.9x plus 5.2. Now, what we're going to talk about here is what do these numbers actually mean for the situation? What does the 1.9 mean and what does the 5.2 mean? Okay, let's first talk about the 5.2 now. This is in y equals mx plus b form. So that's b. And do you remember what b is in the y equals mx plus b form? That's right, it's the y-intercept. So let's go ahead and look at the y-intercept. It's b equals 5.2. And if you think about it, that's where the line is going to cross the y-axis. So we're pointing to it right here. And that's really the starting value, isn't it? Because that's when x equals 0, and x is the number of weeks. So what that means is that before you started the study, the value of the line would predict a value of 5.2, which in other words is like saying at the beginning of the year, before you started your study, right before, there were probably about 5 butterflies, because b is 5.2. That's what that means. Now, let's look at the slope on the other side here. So m here, the 1.9, that is the slope, but it's also the rate of change. So as x changes 1, y changes the amount of the slope, which is 1.9. So every time you go 1 week ahead, y tends to go up on average 1.9. So what does that mean? Well, it means that on average you see 1.9 butterflies more each week than you did the last week. And a lot of times you won't see that exact amount. Like a lot of times it jumps a lot more or goes down even. Here's 2 points that are closer to the 1.9 that are in adjacent weeks there. But that doesn't matter. What we're talking about is on average, because that's what the line will predict. And now we can use this line to predict values out beyond the 25th week, assuming that this pattern holds, like we predicted that initial population before you started the study.